That was cute.
That was cute.
How we did it together.
Hello and welcome back. To get new folks up to speed, we're working on a prototype game of a mischievous dumpster diving raccoon. We've been working on this project for a few weeks and have made considerable progress towards building out an art kit that we can use to replace the gray box with in our prototype. We've also been able to begin modeling our raccoon friend and are slowly beginning to add in important elements like animations and UI. A few people have asked in the comments how we manage working on both Raccoon Playground and Par for the Dungeon at the same time, and this is a great question. Alongside our own internal projects, we take on contracts with other studios that need some extra hands to get a specific aspect of their game ready for certain deadlines. Games are complex machines that require a lot of specialized skill sets, so outsourcing work to both small developers like us and AAA studios is quite common in the industry. While we would love to film and showcase this work for all to see, out of respect for the other studios, we don't show the inner workings of those projects on these devlogs. So with that said, we balance this work by prioritizing a single game. In our case, this is Par for the Dungeon. But when team members get blocked and cannot continue their tasks, we have the flexibility to shift our team around onto active contracts with other studios, or to work away on a second project like Raccoon Playground. So let's dive in and check out the state of the game as it's really starting to take shape and come alive.
Yeah, so what animations are done, right?
So I've got the base idle, the walk, and the run cycles.
Okay.
They're not finished, but they are at a pretty decent point. I'm just doing the climb.
So you don't eat anything, so we can delete that.
Shall I
Delete the various states stuff. Okay. For jumping, what we could... Do you have a raccoon game pulled here?
No, I don't.
Basically, what I have is like jumping. I have like jump animation, and then what I call like mid-air, like moving up. So it's like once the jump animation plays, like basically like ending in that same pose where the raccoon's like going upwards.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I blend that with if you have like a downwards fall where he's going this way.
Okay. Cool.
So basically I have those two like poses, which you can make animations just like downward, upwards. And then I blend those based on your speed. So like when he's jumping, the arc kind of goes like...
Okay, cool.
Actually, you know what? If you have a full jump where he's going like this, and then it ends here, just export the whole thing. I'll split it up into
the grab ledge and pull up. Again, I guess that's
again, we only have a climbing mechanic right now, so we don't have like a grabbing ledge. Having the animations done in some form is better than nothing. So if we can get through them just as fast, like as quick and dirty as we can, just so we can get them in.
Okay. So,
because it's a lot easier to replace them when they're already in.
Yeah, they're not often solved.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's your timeline?
If I can start having some animations tomorrow or Wednesday, that'd be good.
After watching our little blue raccoon friend running around, it was time to get started on the actual in-game model. So getting to see a proxy actually really helps when I'm concepting the character because I know kind of what we're going for in terms of style. So our raccoon is a little bit cartoony, but also quite realistic in the sense that it moves and feels the way that a real raccoon would. So drawing from life actually really helped me to settle on like the body proportions and how our little guy would look, but he does have a cute little face to kind of balance out the more realistic aspect of his design. So the last step is actually just to get him into a quick little turnaround so that I can pass him off to Jess to model.
So once Caitlin sent over the Raccoon Turnarounds, I was able to get started on the final model. I decided to start this little guy in ZBrush instead of just jumping in straight to poly modeling like I normally do, since he's kind of fluffy and I find it a bit easier to sculpt like fur tufts this way, and also sculpting is just a lot of fun. I didn't need to completely finish the sculpt, so once I had the fur tufts in the general shape that I wanted, I exported the model and brought it back into Maya to start retopologizing. Retop was a bit tedious, but I really like it. It's super relaxing. It's a super important step since the sculpted model has way too many polygons to be able to rig and animate. and it would crash the game engine if we put it in. So it has to be optimized before sending it down the pipeline to be rigged. And once the model is finished, we swap it out with the proxy model, and then we can see the animations on this one.
While Jess was working with the final Raccoon model, I could animate with the proxy. So basically how that works is I just animate on the same rig, but it's just not the final thing. Basically just a really sort of gentle idle. Nothing special, just like something to keep it alive while the player's just there. After the idle, I moved on to the run cycle, and that was basically just to get it so the player could move around in the game. It's just a very basic quadruped run cycle, and I discovered that raccoons run in a really strange way, but it works like a horse or a dog run cycle. So with these two animations finished, it was time to export and work with Josh, get them in the game and make it so the player can play as a raccoon.
What is this? Wait, play it again. Oh my god.
Like if I leave it. Yeah, there we go.
Oh my god. That's too funny. Look at him go.
Like a little climb. Look at this.
Oh, Joe, that's incredible. It's like
When the cell's going, it's going.
yeah. Oh, so good. I might put a little like side to side motion in there too as he stretches up. Yeah, and like bend his torso as he's. I guess you have it bending a little bit, but just bend it more. His I assume there's like in betweens needed on the arms because they're like a bit snappy right now. It makes it funnier. A frame or 8 frames? 8.
And then there's 4 frames of like the in between.
Right. That's pretty good. Maybe we just need to adjust the curves or something.
Yeah.
You might be able to like have him like reach out to the side instead of just straight up. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, this is already incredible.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Loving it. Before you start playing, just like I'll act as the like progression systems like stamina and locked gates and stuff. So I'll just tell you like what you can't climb. Like I'll just say stop while you're climbing a drain pipe or like don't go in there if it's like a gate or something. But yeah, that's it. You can play on the controller if you want or mouse and keyboard.
Oh, does controller work? Never tested that. How do you pick up garbage on controller?
Oh yeah, controls. Picking up garbage will be B and climbing is Y. So stop there. That's as high as you can climb right now.
How are you acting as like? Because if I get a certain amount of garbage, I talk to you, and then you get.
No, you have to find the NPCs.
Oh, okay. So there are NPCs.
Yeah, there's little yellow capsules. And those are the NPCs. Stubborn trash can.
Oh, I got it. Oh wow, so much garbage. Oh, and then here's the NPC.
Yeah, so this is your first NPC. This is the Greyhound, who works out a lot, and he gives you an energy drink for bringing his ball back. And we're just going to say that you already have the ball. So now your stamina is upgraded, and you can climb twice as high.
Sweet.
So that ladder is something that, like, once we have the swipe, you'll be able to swipe it down, and it's like a shortcut back up here.
Oh, okay, sweet. See it.
Oh, that was a clean knockover.
Yeah, I don't know why that garbage goes like so far.
It's been one of the highlights of the playtest, to be honest. So I kind of don't want to get rid of it.
I think at this point, like, I'm not sure where else to go.
So you'll have like objectives that are visible to you probably, and it'll be to like upgrade your abilities. So you've upgraded the stamina, but you haven't upgraded your lock ability.
Yeah, because I almost wish like the NPCs were like easier to find.
Yeah.
So that I know my goals right away.
I've thought about having cues to like show you where they are. Like if you get close enough, even if you're not like on the same level as them, maybe they call out to you.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. So this is the Goth Crow, and you bring him either black or shiny garbage, and he gives you the key to the gates. Yeah, like technically there are, like, if you just look in the right direction, there are tons of sightlines to them, but you're definitely like always focused on something else when you have a sightline to them.
Yeah. How much garbage do those people play?
You do pretty well. Shae got 55. Brendan got 65 or 70. And then Camilla and Joe both got 30 or 35. After playtesting with the team was all wrapped up, I began placing the gray box art into the level. It was a lot of fun to place these different building kits onto my little gray box houses and kind of realize how some of these houses would be put together. I didn't have like a full kit. We tried to foresee as many situations as possible, but I had to kind of make do in some places using windows for doors and that sort of thing. But it turned out really well. I tried to make some of the houses really recognizable in certain parts of the level so that players could use them as landmarks to navigate and recognize different parts of the level, sort of recognizing where they've been or where they haven't. A lot of the wall pieces were kind of different shades of beige, so that worked out fairly well, but not perfectly. That might be something we come back to and iterate on. And with the last of the level art being implemented, but the NPCs still being little red capsules, I thought it was important to talk to the tech team about getting the last elements implemented for the full game loop. There's, in my mind, two different objectives we could work towards. One is having like the full loop and like having like all the systems working, or the other is like implementing systems that may not contribute towards like a full game loop, but that are just like more fun and like may show more promise for a full game.
Yeah, I feel like we need the loop to, I think that's a big part of like finding fun, because if the player knows what they're doing, instead of just kind of like, it kind of makes it the difference between like testing a game and like a toy. Yeah,
that was cute. That was cute.
How we did it together. So some of the main things that I think we should probably get in is like the objectives system, how it like shows objectives.
Because there's like obviously the end objective and like the core progression objectives, where it's like get 10 shiny trash to give to the crow and then unlock the gate that is the end of the level. The inspiration for that comes from mostly just Goose Game, like being a mischievous goose, and you can be a mischievous raccoon. Just a like little lined paper list that pops up, and it's just a bunch of optional objectives.
Like, what would you consider like the end state? Because I think like having like some kind of end to it, like just a screen that pops up to say like you did it, it's over, so that if we do like put it on itch or something, then the people who are playing it have like an actual like ending. So I have listed then title screen and game end / win screen, objectives / objectives UI, so like the Goose Game reference. Those are all like small-ish, whereas like the main things for the structure is like stamina and stamina upgrade, lockpicking and lockpick upgrade, because that's kind of what you've patterned the whole like level around. So the one thing with the upgrade system is the upgrade, because you talk to the NPCs, give them stuff to upgrade your abilities. So the upgrade system's probably going to be tied in with whatever dialogue system we end up using.
And those are both the same, where you collect a thing or a number of things, talk to an NPC, you've got X of what they need, they give you it.
Yeah.
Done. Okay, so they're probably the exact same thing.
It'll probably take like Ben's time to do all of the game structure kind of stuff. Start with stamina / lockpicking, either one you want to do first.
Yeah, the full game, it would be nice to have like different types of trash and be able to like see how much of each you have and then that sort of stuff. But
you're not like trading it. It's not like a currency. It's just
what is it? Yeah, you like spend the currency to like buy the upgrade.
Yeah.
Right?
Like if you have 5 trash and it requires 5 trash, then when you get the thing, you lose it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I think if we have all this stuff, like the upgrades, like a way to end stuff, Just think that'll make it like a game. So
Totally. After discussing the technical needs with Zack and Josh, I got started working on it in Engine. First thing I did was I made my own test scene just by copying Josh's, and then started at making the locked gates. So these are gates you have to approach with a certain level of lockpicking skill, and then you can unlock it. In my test scene here, I just have the volume disappear because I'm not going to spend time making it pretty. I'll leave that to Zack or Cody. I also had to make the NPC interactions to go with them, because in order to upgrade your lockpicking skills, you need to talk to an NPC to do that. And you can see in the video here, I go first to the locked gate. Nothing happens when I press the button because they don't meet the skill requirement. So I go to the NPC, talk to them. Although because this is super early and it's just me making sure all the functionality works, I just print out into the console like, congratulations, it worked. And then I can go back to lock gate with my higher lockpicking skill and open it up. After this, it'll be another sync with Zack to make sure I met all the requirements, and it's kind of built in a way that can scale to meet the needs he thinks he's going to have further down the road. And then we'll start getting UI and other things also built onto it as we get further and further into the development of the feature.
So I've been working on building out the UI systems. It was important to get the sprite sheets ready to implement. My process for this usually involves me grabbing a piece of existing concept art. In this case, the renders you guys have probably seen in the past devlogs. This is just a good base when we didn't have any finalized 3D art in, to get a good gauge of what the colors of the game will be and how I can make the UI stand out on top of that. Sketching it out early on like this and being incredibly loose and having like no regard for how clean it is or what exactly the shapes are really helps me experiment. You'll also see me kind of go off on random tangents on my canvas where I'm sketching out a bunch of different ideas and different shapes and different designs for basically the same thing over and over again. Sometimes they look incredibly similar, but I find it's helpful for me to start nailing down some of the exact shapes before I start cleaning things up inside of Photoshop. So when I have a lot of rough sketches done, I'll bring them into Photoshop and I'll start cleaning it up with some of Photoshop's basic vector tools. This just is a good starting base for making sure my lines are clean without having to do it all manually myself. And after that, I'll usually jump back and forth between Paint Tool SI and Photoshop and ensure that I'm kind of getting the stylized hand-drawn look I want while keeping those clean, consistent vector lines from Photoshop. Once all that's completed, I'll compile it into a finalized sprite sheet. The layout of them kind of varies from project to project, but I'll be interfacing a lot with Ben as I do it, finding out what sprites we actually need, what we can save space on, what we can cut, and what we have to change as it actually gets in game. With everyone getting close to wrapping up their pieces, the last step was to build out a nice start screen for the game. So similar to what Zack was doing earlier on in the video, I'm also going to start placing some 3D assets within a scene. I hadn't actually made a 3D title screen before, but it felt like something that would be a cool and almost faster way to make a title screen than doing it all in 2D. So pretty much placing a bunch of the assets we've already made throughout the last 4 weeks, resize them, repositioning them, do some playing around with the depth of field and other camera settings to get the foreground, midground, background set up as best I can. You'll probably notice that there's giant trees in the foreground. It doesn't actually make sense as a real place, but it looks better for the single shot of the title screen we had. Additionally, you'll see the beautiful logo Caitlin made, and we slapped that on the garage there as well. And I think by the end of this, one of the people on our team made the raccoon's tail wag in the wind, so it's a little less static at the end. You also see, again, great for creating depth with very little work on a 3D side of thing, are the city cards that I had made previously. You can really layer them in any combination you want, and they almost always end up looking good. And then additionally, there's some final few color tweaks, playing around with global volume, I believe it's called in Unity, adjusting things like color, hue, saturation, just a final few things that maybe made a difference. At that point, I was kind of just fidgeting and seeing what kind of looked cool and experimenting.
With the team being near completion on the entire art pass, there are only a few more elements left to build out. Jess, Joe, and Rice have been hard at work bringing the NPC characters from Shae's concepts to life. Unfortunately, we only had time to build out 2 of the 3 NPCs, but rest assured, the Canary will resurface in the future. Also, while we got to see some of Ben's work building out the UI, he has continued to implement the finished sprite sheets that we saw Shae work on, which really helps pull the polish of the demo together. While the demo has taken us a little under 4 weeks, there's definitely room for improvement in a full version. However, we're quite happy with the progress in that time. So be sure to check back next week as we'll be doing the final unveiling of the demo and doing a big playtest with the entire team to get their thoughts and hear how the process was for everyone. Lastly, thanks as always for watching. The ideas that people have been sending writing into the comment section are wonderful, fantastic, and perfectly quirky to fit this game. There are a lot of great ideas, and some of them will definitely be considered as we determine what shape Raccoon Playground will take once we have the chance to reflect on the strengths and weakness of the demo version. Thanks as always, catch you in the next one.